Alright. So this is Easkerton, if I'm pronouncing that right, by Jappy. Got a 67% silver, which in my opinion is slightly low, but I think we'll talk about that at the end. I think really one of the few, there's like 3 or 4 things that I didn't really like in this park, and one of them was this entrance. I didn't really think it fit that well. Like, you had this huge entrance with like the triangle texture and the cover, and just doesn't really seem to fit that much. I feel like a smaller entrance, it's more open and more organic feeling, would have fit the park a lot more. And it's kind of awkward how you have like this, I don't know, like this feels like the ride placement's a little bizarre. I don't know if these boats really fit. I would have done this. I would have maybe chosen fewer boats. I don't know how you hack this, but it feels like it's super crowded, and the boats are really small, so I don't really feel like they fit the scale. Easkerton. Alright, so it's Easkerton Towers. For the longest time I thought this was a carousel, just because of the way it's like designed, but no, the carousel's actually right here. I mean, I think the strongest aspects of the park is how everything's spaced out, so everything feels really like, for the most part, natural, and you have like space in between rides, but everything doesn't feel like everything's like on top of each other, and it's very believable in that aspect, because real parks, they don't have like 10,000 rides in like a small area. I feel like a lot of RCT parks are always really poorly spaced. And this is really nice because there's lots of just open areas where you can, I don't know, there's lots of cool stuff, like little eating areas and gardens and stuff like that. And I love a lot of these like little shops and like these stages. I wish there were a few more of these like games and things like these buildings. I really like all this kind of stuff. So let's see the things I didn't really like off the bat. I think this coaster is really weak. I didn't really, I don't know, it, like every other coaster in the park feels believable in this park, but then there's this random side friction coaster that doesn't really have a believable layout. It kind of just feels plopped down there and rushed. I like the idea of a side friction coaster. I think it could have been just done a lot easier, and I feel like it was just, either this was the first thing built or the last thing built, because it doesn't really feel like it's that strong, either because it was rushed or it was just the first thing built, and still trying to figure out what the park was going to be. But another thing I didn't really like was how like the park was trimmed, especially in this. I feel like you could have, I don't know what size map this is. Like, I feel like you could have, excuse me, filled up the map. I mean, maybe not completely, but I just feel like it's so bizarre that you have it trimmed like this. I feel like the park would have felt a lot more finished if you would have not trimmed it up so much at the end. Adding more backstage or just houses or farms or whatever, just to make it feel a little bit, it has more realistic context. And then I think I wasn't really sure about this wooden coaster, how it's like half of it's like feels like a GCI, like a twisty There's lots of turns and banks, and then half of it's like just normal out and back, like straight drop. I feel like it was two different coasters, which I guess could work. I mean, it could be like that they had like this part left over from an old coaster and decided to add on to it, but I don't know. I think it could have been handled a little bit better if that was like what you were going for. I did really like this area. I think everything in this was more well made than what was your other park? And also went silver. I can't remember. No, it was Adventure Park Fun to Soul or something like that. I think this is just like a little bit smaller version of that. I think everything is. I think this coaster is always really, really awkward to support because of the way the supports are. I don't know if you have them in this bench, but if you use the invert, what is it called? It's like an invert core tile and half tile connector that you can use that makes it look a little bit cleaner, but it's not really a big deal. I really like all the this ride. I really like the dark rides, facades, and then where is it? I feel like there's like one too many drops, and how the curve at the end feels really, really forced. It could have been a little bit longer, maybe. But I mean, other than that, I really, really like the log flume, and then I think all the coasters, especially the spinning coaster and then the Smiler coaster, or Melancholy, I should say, are really, really nice. And yeah, this happens. Sorry. It's a unique ride. I know I said this to you a couple of times, but adding diagonal supports, I think it would have helped if there was one right here and then also on this coaster. But it's not really, I mean, that's not really the kind of stuff you're going for. I think this coaster is always really, really awkward to support because of the way the supports are. I don't know if you have them in this bench, but if you use the invert, what is it called? It's like an invert core tile and half tile connector that you can use that makes it look a little bit cleaner, but it's not really a big deal. I really like all the this ride. I really like the dark rides, facades, and then where is it? Yeah, this. This is really cool. Like it make it feel a little bit more unique and more believable, I guess. Some of the planning though in this area is a little bit weird. Like it didn't really, I don't know. I feel like really off the side and stuff, which I guess is like the way real parks are, but it was almost like too much so that like, the only thing over in this area is this ride and this ride, which this ride, I mean, not really even like that pronounced. What is this? Sure, that comes. I mean, yeah, it's kind of hidden a little bit too much. So for the most part, this kind of area right here is a little bit of a dead zone, except for the this ride, which is really cool. The cutaways. And I did like the cutaway. I think you have one right here. Yeah, I really like the cutaways. I say for the most part, your architecture is stronger than the past. Maybe a little bit too like busy. Like you're using maybe like one or too many textures and objects that you could clean up a little bit more. I feel like you're just packing objects in to make it feel more detailed, where you don't really need to do that. Some areas it's better than others, but I did like the Rapids ride. I think that your backstage stuff in this is really, really strong, especially because I don't really think you did any in your other two parks. But it really feels strong, it feels unique, which is something that normally does not happen. Your color choice is really good, and the details and objects you added made it feel really nice, but Overall, I think it's a really solid park. There's definitely that Alton Towers influence with the castle in the middle and sort of the spread out nature, which I really like. I think it was done pretty well. I really like this garden area in the back. Kind of a break from all the rides and stuff. But, and I wish you would have known about the invisible huts, because having all these huts here is really awkward, but you did a good job of hiding it for the most part, but hopefully for